challenges that we've had this season, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate the connection that you have to the fans and how interested they are in the team. It just hasn't been a normal year for us here, but I know it's been challenging for all of us, and I appreciate what all of you have done to help us, help the team, and have as much cooperation as we can to make it work, and we made it work. So thank you for that. As I said yesterday, we put everything that we had into the Jets game today. The players will be in. We have some things logistically to take care of in the next couple of days to really bring closure to the 2020 season. So we'll be doing that, and then at some point, so then at some point we'll be moving on to starting to prepare for next year and so forth. But really, there's a lot of loose ends to tie up here for this year. Certainly, we'll be dealing with some protocols and still working through health and safety issues and so forth that will just be part of this off season. They'll probably be a little different. Will definitely be different than what they've been in the past. So things like that. So in terms of next year and all that, I'm sure there are plenty of questions about that. In all honesty, really haven't done anything there. Certainly haven't made any decisions, and other than talking about some logistical things, really haven't done anything. So there isn't really too much for me to say about that. So just a quick reflection for me on the year would be, as I said yesterday, how much I respect and appreciate the team and the staff and the sacrifices that everyone has made so that we could even have a season, so we could play football and play it competitively. And we worked hard throughout the course of the year to improve, to try to move to a higher level, which we did. Again, still fell short of where we wanted to be. I'm not saying that, but I appreciate everybody's effort, and we all learned a lot. I certainly learned a lot as a coach. I had to coach and do things that I've never done before, do things differently. And I learned a lot about our players. It's a very educational year from all the social justice meetings and things that we had in the spring, which carried over into the season. I think our team did a great job of that. We had great leadership from Jason, Devin, Matt, and many others. Brandon Kane, guys that are involved in just many different aspects of that, but most importantly, just bringing the awareness within the team for each other, and us getting to know each other and appreciate each other's background, story, and thoughts, and that was very again, educational for me, as well as everybody else. I think we all benefited from it, and again, things that we've done this year that will help us going forward, would certainly, fall into that category, maybe probably at the top of that category. So, as I said, we'll wrap things up, and and then move on. We'll see how things go in terms of scouting, the combine, the salary cap, and so forth. There are a lot of unknowns, a lot of question marks at this time. Where normally, I would say I've been able to plan out a schedule that's pretty accurate that we could stick to through the course of the spring. At this point, a lot of those questions have yet to be answered, so we can't definitively provide direction as to what we'll do, how we'll do it, or what our opportunities will be. So we'll take that as it comes. In the meantime, do things that we can do in terms of self-evaluation and self-scouting and things like that. So that's really pretty much where we stand at this point. So got a lot of work to do, and we'll do what we can when we can, and try to be as productive and efficient as possible.
We'll open up for questions. We'll start with Alan Siegel, followed by Ben Volen.
Thanks, Stacy. Good morning, Bill.
Morning, Alan.
Bill, you just talked about the fact that you got work to do in terms of self-scouting and things of that nature, and what your posture is going to be, going forward. But when you get into these meetings, in terms of using your experience, what is it that determines your posture? Whether you have an aggressive posture, whether you are a little bit more conservative, and might this year going forward, because of the season you just had, be a year that you might be a little bit more aggressive than usual in doing some things?
Well, I think we always, Alan, try to do what's best for the football team. And that's a combination of long-term and short-term. Honestly, I don't know how we could be any more aggressive than we were for the last 5 years. And, that provided, I'm talking about the 14 to 18 period. Even though, last year, I'll throw last year in there too, and last year. And so for the last 6 years, really. And so there's a residual to that. But I would say we're always trying to be aggressive. We're always trying to improve the team in any way we can, whether that's a play, a technique, a personnel decision, whatever it is. And we evaluate every single thing that we do. We evaluate it on a regular basis. Some things are done weekly, some things are done monthly, some things are done at the end of a particular period of activity, as we go through a normal year cycle. So I wouldn't characterize it as anything different than what we've always done, which is to try to do the best that we can for our football team. Now, again, that takes into consideration, some long-range planning, which we have to have, but a lot of short-range planning too.
Thanks.
Next question, Ben Volen, followed by Bob Sosa.
Good morning, Bill.
Hey, Ben.
Couple questions about the quarterbacks. I know you've spoken a lot about working with Cam Newton this year, but overall, what was the experience like in working with him, and what kind of time frame do you expect in making a decision whether you want him to return next year?
Yeah, I don't know anything about a time frame. And again, I think I've expressed my thoughts about Cam multiple times over the year. Expressed it yesterday. Nothing's changed. So, yeah, I mean, we'll just look at everything in the off season. As I just said, it's take a full evaluation of all the things that we do and have done, and look forward. And I'm sure as we do every year, we'll want to modify some things. And again, we've learned a lot this year. There's some things that we did this year that we've never done before. How much some of those will or won't be a part of things going forward, I don't know. We'll certainly evaluate them. Even if things went back to, let's call it normal, there might be some things that we'd want to change based on our experience this year that were new and we felt that were productive. So we'll just, take our time and be thorough with those. We do a regular self-scout, and again, we do a periodic review, of everything, but it's a little harder to do during the season, just to be as thorough as you want to be. because of the urgency of the next game. And we don't have a next game right now, so this gives us a better opportunity to, again, try to make the decisions that are best for the football team, both based on past experiences and on future impending decisions.
Wanted to ask you a quick follow-up also about the plan at quarterback for the season. You came out of free agency in the draft with only Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham, and then waited until the summer to sign Cam Newton. When you look at the team's production, 7-9 record, last in the league in passing touchdowns, do you think you did enough at quarterback for this year?
Well, again, I would say that throughout the course of the year, you always try to do what's best for the team at that point in time and for the time frame that you're working through. So that's what we did. That's what we'll continue to do. We can always look back and second guess things that were or weren't done. But I'd say really the most important thing for us is to look at future decisions and try to make the best ones that we can.
Next question, Bob Sosi, followed by Mike Reese.
Good morning, Bill.
Hey, Bob.
Bill, last week you touched on something regarding the volume and maybe the complexity of information, teaching young players multiple positions. And with the uncertainty of the spring ahead, what did you learn from the experience this year, and how might that change the way that you try to assimilate the young players or advance these young players, particularly the first and second year guys, considering, again, the challenges of teaching them the complexities of the schemes and understanding what you're trying to accomplish offensively, defensively, and as well, try to make sure that they maximize the time to improve this offseason?
Well, I'd say the short answer to that would be the limited value of the virtual meetings and the maximum value of in-person meetings and walkthroughs. So, what do you think you're getting done in a virtual meeting? And I would say what's actually accomplished are, two very different things, because it's so hard to measure and gauge the feedback, which you can do in person in a walkthrough or in a meeting scenario. So we found over the course of the year that those were I can't even put a percentage on it, but they were infinitely more productive than virtual meetings. Virtual meetings are fine for dissemination of some, say, basic information, general information, but in terms of a team working together, especially a team that doesn't have a lot of experience together, and that was true in certain positions. I don't think there's a great benefit to it. There's some, but it's not anything close to what doing it another way would be.
In retrospect, how much do you think that affected the production, particularly early in the season, for younger players especially?
Yeah, I don't know. Just we had a choice to do it. I know what the preference was for the players and the staff, and that's if there's an option, that's the option we would take. If there's no option, then there's no option.
Right. Thanks, Bill.
Next question, Mike Reese, followed by Tom Curran.
Hey, Bill, when you look back at the totality of the season, how much did the COVID shutdown, I guess, right before the Week 4 game, how would you sort of characterize how that affected the overall season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about that at the time. in subsequent weeks. So, I mean, I don't have anything to add to it now, Mike.
And one other follow-up, just one theme in listening to you talk is just how much you learned in a lot of areas this season. And I'm curious, what are some of the things that you learned, maybe even about yourself, that keep you motivated to keep going into a 47th NFL season?
Yeah, I don't know. It's look, I'm going to try to do whatever I can to help our football team in whatever way I can. So, things that I've learned, I'll try to apply and maximize the benefit from them, and try to take the experience that I've had, whether from year one to whatever the years were in between, to certainly this last year, because things were this year probably closer to what they're going to be next year, if I had to guess. How to best utilize those. So.
I'm going to take two final questions. Tom Curran, Andrew Callahan.
Hey, Bill. What are some of the challenges that your scouting staff is experiencing because of the limitations posed by COVID? And how much more difficult might some of these evaluations be because of opt-outs and lack of ability to get out for visits, etc.?
Well, yeah, first of all, Tom, I don't know what the options or opportunities are going to be in the spring. Like, that hasn't been defined yet. So they were very limited last year. It was only a couple days, really. And then information from workouts came from like independent combines, and colleges kind of did their own pro days and then sent you the results and things like that. So we'll see what it is this spring. I don't know if this spring is the same as last spring, then it'll be about the same as last spring. Virtual interviews with the players, and information as you can get it, and so forth. In terms of the past, the no NFL scout was allowed on campus to talk to players, talk to coaches, or watch practice or anything like that. There were games that you could buy tickets to go to the game. But that's the way it was for the entire league. So again, how all that'll be going forward, I don't know. It limited, obviously, exposures, and as you said, there were some players that opted out. That's similar but different to a player that was injured and missed his senior year, or missed his last year, or missed most of his last year, and is still draft eligible. You just have to evaluate what you have to evaluate. So, less information is less information. I mean, that's really all there is to it. And what we'll be able to do this spring, or what we won't be able to do, is yet to be determined. But I think we should plan for probably less than more than what it's been historically. Now, compared to last year, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But we haven't gotten anything definitively about how the combine will be done. We can look at teams like, or leagues like the NBA and see what they did with their combine. Maybe NFL combine will be similar to that. Maybe it won't. I don't know. So we'll just have to see how that goes in terms of the spring scouting and information gathering process. But the fall scouting is basically done off of film, and whatever virtual or phone call communication could be done with a staff member or a pro liaison, or however the colleges set it up.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And final question, Andrew Callahan.
Good morning, Bill. I know you mentioned the schedule the next couple of weeks is fairly fluid, but when do you expect to dive into the self-scouting portion of that and self-evaluation, you know?
Well, right now we're really putting the final touches of putting that in place so we can do it more efficiently. So making sure that things are organized and the information is set up in a way that it's you know, say most easily attainable or most easily or readily available to be analyzed and looked at. So I think everybody, has had everybody's put a lot into this season. It's really been a daily process since, late July. There was no bye week. There was no, it's really there's no break. There's no break in the testing. There's no break in the, availability of everyone pretty much on every day. So, I think we can all use a, breath of fresh air, and a break to get away from things for a period of time. But during that time, I'm sure that, I know our staff and even though we're away, we'll still have access to information and we'll start working on it. And when we, come back, after that period, then we'll eventually get to everything. We'll have to prioritize what comes first and what comes second and what comes third. But, there's a list of things that we'll accomplish before certainly the deadlines, the start of free agency, the start of draft, the start of whatever OTAs are or aren't. But we'll get things done well ahead of that schedule. But it'll be a combination of working through all those things.
Now, I understand, as you said, it's a list of priorities that you want to make. Do you have any areas when you get to making that list that will be at the top of things you need and want to address this offseason, certain areas?
Yeah, again, we would address everything. I mean, everything's important. Something's got to go at the top and something's got to go, 10th and something's got to go 20th. But, we're not going to ignore something just because it's lower on the list than number one. I mean, we'll address everything. Some things are more important than others. But again, there's some things you can control the timing on and some things you can't. So if you can control the timing on it, then that's sometimes easier to do. But if you can't control the timing and you don't know when things are going to happen, then you just kind of have to take them as they come. So there's certainly an element of not knowing, what opportunities and what options might be available, like what we have sitting here today and what we're going to have a month from now and what we're going to have 6 weeks from now and what we're going to have 2 months from now. I don't think you can tell us that. I don't think we can predict it with certainty. I think there are options there. I think there are things that you can look at, but, some of those may or may not materialize. And so I think you have to be prepared if they do. You also have to be prepared if they don't. So those are, that's the way it always is. You have to have a degree of flexibility, and if you can capitalize on an opportunity that's unexpected, then that could be a good thing. But everything that is going to happen is not on the table right now, far from it. So, and in terms of players, which is I'm sure is what you're asking about, there are players who are unrestricted free agents that will be signed by their teams that will not be unrestricted free agents, and there are players that are under contract with teams that will be released. just like there are every year. So it's not like this has never happened before. But that's just the facts. So, like, in terms of players, what are all those things and so forth, and what are the specifics that go with them? I mean, that's certainly not definitive now, and I wouldn't expect it to be for, honestly, quite a while. So we'll see. All right, well, thank you. Appreciate everyone's cooperation, and look forward to catching up down the road here. Safe travels.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
And for the media.
Order ahead on the Dunkin' app to get running on game day. Whether you're a Patriots fan or a Dunkin' fan.
Yes.
DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee when you order from the app on Patriots game day.
In New England, we are resilient. It takes hard work to earn respect. Sometimes it takes decades. And it always takes someone being on your side.
Ready or not.
Gillette ProGlide and ProGlide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
For over 60 years, this team has transformed itself into a championship organization. For over 160 years, our team has demonstrated a similar mentality. There are no days off. Our front lines are fortified by people who sacrifice individuality for the team. Our shelves are also stocked with the best quality products and ingredients. Our team members know their roles. We're proud to do our jobs. Shaw's, the official supermarket of the 6-time champion New England Patriots.
Order ahead on the Dunkin' app to get running on game day. Whether you're a Patriots fan or a Dunkin' fan.
Yes.
DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee when you order from the app on Patriots game day.
In New England, we are resilient. It takes hard work to earn respect. Sometimes it takes decades. And it always takes someone